1-0 and only had one shot on target, but it doesn't matter when your big players step up and make it count.
Yeah, they certainly weren't at their best tonight, but as you say, Gabby, the big players were involved in everything positive for them. Sekou Correa getting caught up high. Mbeumo, he's a leader of this line, isn't he? When he really wants to, gets his head down, bursting in behind. And this was a chance. This is one of their very few chances, but especially in the first half, we've highlighted Cunha arriving from that left-hand side. It's actually a really good pass, but it's a heavy touch. We actually held our breath in the studio. We thought we'd nailed him, but he hadn't, which allowed him to play on. Fernandes, he's been absolutely instrumental. Man United's most important player, deals with Garnacho, gets the ball in. Šeško just deals with Caicedo in the middle, and that is a brilliant finish from Cunha. Absolutely superb. That's a big game player right there.
And they've got a bit of a centre-back crisis, so for Aidan Heaven, this is an opportunity as much for him, isn't it, to impress his manager, and he did.
Yeah, really good today. We watched Lenny Yoro and Martinez get bullied on Monday by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This boy comes in, he's only 19 years old, and he had an excellent game. You can see straight away in this first clip what he's all about. Bang, big tackle, lets Delap know that he's there and he's in the game. Again here, senses danger, quick across the ground, clears the danger straight away. In possession, can start attacks also. That's a great pass through lines, gets his team going. And then all game he did things like this, just getting himself in between a shot and the goal, which is so important. And sometimes today I think defenders are so caught up on what they do in possession, they don't concentrate on bits like this that get your team a clean sheet, which seems simple but it's not. His body shape's great, he knows where the striker is, he knows where the ball's coming in, clears the danger, and big praise from his manager. I thought he was excellent today.
A little wobble on Monday, but they're now 10 points clear of Chelsea in that hunt for a Champions League place, and it's looking very good for them for next season.
Yeah, that was a really big result. I don't think they saw Monday night coming. I think that shocked them. You know, obviously they've been in such a positive vein of form since Michael's come in, but that was a big victory, and as Ash was talking about there, it was a proper hard-working victory. They had one chance really and they took it. They'll be absolutely delighted with that.
Well, as for Chelsea, their last 10 results don't make very good reading, do they, for Liam Rosenior there? So you've got 3 wins, and 2 of those were against lower league opposition in the FA Cup. So just that one Premier League win. The ownership has said, we think we are behind Liam. Of course, it's a results business, but we think he can be successful long term, Joe.
Yeah, I think those quotes sum Chelsea up at the moment. There's a lot of unrest. There was a protest before the game today. Rosenior started so positives, plenty of W's next to his name, but over recent times, that's not what Chelsea will want. They're not the results that they're in this business for. And they're right on the edge of this kind of Champions League spots at the moment, but they've got an FA Cup opportunity, but that's not good enough for Chelsea.
Yeah, we talked about that being an opportunity for Leeds. For Chelsea, it puts a very different gloss, doesn't it, over the season? It's almost a necessity.
Yeah, it seems like a must-win trophy for them to make the season look a little bit better than it does, because they want to be fighting in the the right at the very top of the Premier League, and they're not at the minute.
As well to Chelsea's chances of Champions League, Joe, what do you think that does to their chances of qualifying now?
It makes it very, very thin. They're going to try and hunt down Liverpool. Obviously Liverpool losing Ekitike, how are they going to finish the season? But I think the telling one is the 4 defeats in a row, not scoring a goal, without scoring a goal, and since '93. So that's a little, that's where we're at the moment. And they got to get through. They got to stick together, get through this tough period. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong at the club. There is. You're spending a lot of money. And it's just if you don't spend it in the right places at the right time with the right reasons and cause, you're going to end up with a lopsided squad. We were talking and we said about there's nothing wrong with the performance today. The goalkeeper made a little error, and we wasn't clinical. The centre forward wasn't good. But the margins at this level are so small. So you have to do everything right, and at the moment the club's just fallen from what we expected. So it's very tough.
Do you think they're in danger now of missing out on European football altogether, Owen?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, even up to 12. The gap is so tight from 6 to 12. and they've got a really difficult run in Chelsea. And and they're, as you said, they're not really scoring goals. I think in these moments you need leadership. You look at Bruno Fernandes today. That's what you get. You get leadership. Obviously, you get quality, 19 assists, but you get leadership in difficult moments. That's when you know players. You need people when you're struggling. Young players are the best when you're cruising. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no real adversity. But I think sometimes the young lads need somebody to lean on when you're struggling. And you think about some of the issues Chelsea have had. Chelsea were good today, actually played all right. But in the crucial moments, they didn't defend well enough. And at the top of the pitch, they didn't really finish the chances off. I think they hit the post 3 times. So it's the easiest fix, It's just get a bit of experience, sort the goalkeeping position out, get a couple of experienced centre-backs. The rest of the team, actually, I think they've signed some great players. But you look at Man United with Bruno Fernandes, you look at, you need a Marquinhos or a Bastoni or a Van Dijk, somebody of that ilk to help these young lads, because actually a lot of it is actually okay, but they need some experience to rely on when it's difficult.
They certainly had the best of the early exchanges in that first half, but then Manchester United went and scored with their first shot on target, their only shot on target tonight, Joe. But Wesley Fofana was off the pitch at the time, dealing
at Chelsea. They wouldn't have brought him in. He's not the type of guy that would have been brought in if they're not looking for something, which is unusual for Chelsea, because it's fire. If they're not doing it, fire somebody who then goes on and gets trophies. So I think this one, I think Liam will be given to the end of the season, whether they're in the Champions League or not. I think how they finish, they've got to finish this season much better than that run now. If they finish on a front foot, and even if they just miss out on it, I think he'll start next season. But next season he's got to be on the front foot. He's got to have a flyer to the start of the season next year. If not, then I think he'd be in trouble.
We have seconds left. Does he go for you?